Super excited to be here with Kobe White, a sixth-round pick by the Rays back in 2019, the 27th ranked prospect. Kobe, how's it going, man?
It's going good, man. Thank y'all for having me on. I'm happy.
Thanks for
Yeah, no,
coming.
we're happy to get you on. Your agent had reached out to me because we had recorded last week with Davis Bradshaw, and he's with your same agency and stuff. So your agent had reached out and said, "Hey, I got a couple guys that you should reach out to." And I'm like, "All right, yeah, we're always down to talk to more people and stuff." And so we're super happy to get you on the pod, man.
Uh,
We had kind of talked about like rehab before we hit record, but now that we are recording, how is the rehab going for you? I know you mentioned previously like the mental side of things, but how is it going physically, mentally, and even like emotionally?
so to start with, I feel like everything to do with health is first step is mentally getting right and realizing the task at hand and what you have to do and all that. And I thought I'd kind of face some adversity before getting hurt. And it's easy mentally to be there and to be
Yeah,
dialed in and to be positive when things are going great, even when you have a bad outing or whatever. But once you have Tommy John, and I've been thankful. This is my first one, and I've been thankful to be healthy up to this point. But
mm-hmm.
it's taught me so many lessons about controlling things that you can control.
Sure.
Because you can control an outing, you can control all those things. But far as health, sometimes it just feels like so far in this process, sometimes it hadn't went the way I wanted it to. It was like nothing I could do. So just put your head down and keep working, kind of thing. But up until I guess about a month ago, everything was kind of building up, and doing really well. Had something flare up my shoulder. I honestly think I was just overworking it. Um, and so I feel like that's kind of what the rehab process is for Tommy John is understanding like, okay, I did this today. I need to do this tomorrow, and kind of balance out the highs and lows of workload, so to speak, with my arm. But yeah, that's kind of where it's at. And it's kind of a roller coaster, I guess, as far as the mental side of it, because you definitely don't want to be gone at a complex and not playing. So, but outside of that, man, I'm very thankful for the things I've learned so far, which has been right at 14 months.
Now, with the TJ, obviously it's an extensive rehab. Has it given you anything else now for further on in your career that you can put into your warm up like routine that you've taken from there? That's like, hey, this kind of helps relieve stress somewhere. Has that kind of like showed you new ways to keep your arm going throughout the season, or is it kind of just like one of those things where if it starts hurting again, I'll do it?
Uh, the first thing is like prep work. Yeah, I think I've
Yeah,
definitely taking healthier habits out of it. I was always the kind of guy where if something was sore, I just flew through it, and I always took pride in thinking that if I'm sore, I'm able to pitch still and still get it done. And I was thinking, okay, there's value with that. Not saying there's not value in that, but looking back now, that's probably why I got hurt. And not saying I won't do that in the future. If I'm in the big leagues or in the playoffs, I'm definitely going to push my body.
yeah,
As far as prepping my body, I just have a lot more tools. I feel like, far as how to activate different parts of my shoulder, different parts of my
yeah,
body to throw that I didn't have before. Now everybody does bands and
yeah.
stuff like that, which I don't do plyos now. But just different things in the training room I'm utilizing now that I kind of didn't use that way before. But it turns to an eye opener, when
Yeah.
hurt for 14 months. So then you
Yeah.
start really respecting everything.
Figure out a little more about your body.
Right.
That's all
Exactly.
you can do at that point. It's how to get healthy as quick as possible in the right way.
Exactly. Well, and that was the thing. Everybody makes it out to be like you don't want to have it again, and I definitely do not want to have it again because it's not fun. But you see guys that have it two or three times, and I definitely don't want to be that guy neither. But I'm also not going to pitch and worry about it
Yeah.
because like it's a double edged sword. If you're not balanced with it harms you either way. If you're worried about getting hurt again, it affects your performance, and then if you're just oblivious to it, then it'll happen again. So
Yeah, you talked about like overworking your arm. That's maybe why you kind of had that setback. How hard is it to not just get back into throwing? Because I mean, obviously you're just sitting back, and it's a long process. But like, how hard is it for you just to like be like, all right, I want to let this new arm eat? You know?
right. Well, and that was the thing. I remember I had a coach when I was younger. Speaking of letting arm eat, like I was playing catch one day, and I was probably, I don't know, 11 or 12 years old. And it's crazy. I remember this. Um, but my arm felt really good, and all the other kids were just playing catch. You know, they weren't putting effort in the ball, and I was throwing the ball. Once we got done at play, I was throwing the ball as hard as I could, and I remember him telling me like, "Save your bullets, save your bullets." Uh, Now, as a 24-year-old that hadn't pitched over a year, I understand what that means a little more. And then you start thinking, like, during this rehab process, okay, I've missed time. Have I lost feel with my slider or my splitter or whatever it may be? You know, you get so caught up in the work that you don't realize, like, hey, every throw is taxing, you know? So,
Yeah.
And that was what I was thinking of. Like, over the past month, my command hadn't been great. It's been pretty bad, as worse as it's been since I've been in pro ball. And in catch play, I've been making more throws. I mean, I'm not logging them and tracking them or anything like that. I know I've been making more throws. But the biggest thing I think was stuff I was doing in the training room. I thought that once my volume increased with my throws, I needed to increase arm care, and I think that was kind of the wrong way to look at it. So I guess it's just something, you know, you play with and you figure out for yourself, you know.
Any advice for like younger pitchers or younger athletes? Because you talked about what that advice that your coach had given you, and you probably think at the time, like, you know, I'll be all right. But do you have any advice for guys who are, because we have younger listeners and stuff, do you have any advice for guys who are maybe in high school still or even in the minors?
Uh, the big thing with me, I was never, I love to eat. I've never been a kind of guy that like
My kind of guy.
nutrition or anything, you know. So it's kind of putting in perspective, like health is so much tied into nutrition, and so I just kind of focused on eating better this time, better quality foods. Like you see a lot of kids will get done with a baseball game or something, you'll see them in McDonald's or wherever, and stuff like that. It's definitely not good for an athlete to be putting in their body as far as nutrition, and then also sleep. You know, so many kids don't utilize sleep. And you know, you can work as hard as you want in the weight room. You can work as hard as you want on the field, working on pitches and stuff. But I feel like until it becomes a full circle, your nutrition is good, your sleep is good, your hydration is good, um, and then obviously the weight room and the baseball, that those should be easy things to work at. Um, and then also knowing when to take off. I feel like a young kid never knows when to take off. I'm still battling that today. You know, like, hey, I'm sore. I don't need to throw today. Or I played a full season. It's probably not best for me to go play travel ball. You know, and you see so many kids, not bad travel ball, but, and these are just my opinions, but you see so many kids that throw a spring season, a summer ball season, and then if they're in college, they're playing in the fall too. So there's not much time for their body to rest again, you know, and I think all that leads into injury. You know, I don't know that you can put one over the other, but
Yeah.
There's just kind of my thoughts on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Talking about like you being a 28th ranked prospect and all that kind of stuff, I love asking this question. How did you find out you were a top 30 prospect for the Rays? I mean, was it like your parents told you? And do you kind of pay attention to that? And also, Reifert's a 27th ranked prospect, or 20? No, you're the 27th. He's 28th. Do you ever look at him and be like, "Yo, dude, you know, get on my level"?
No, he's man, he. So I found out. I think I had a friend message me. I really don't look at it too much because I've never really been. I've never been like I wasn't a. I mean, sixth round was okay, but I wasn't a high rounder. I wasn't a first, second round. You know, I was never had all this media attention or whatever.
Sure.
So I've never really. I guess I've never really craved it that much, but it's very cool and I'm honored for it. But man, Reifert, he's a real deal, man. If I could have his slider, he could have whatever rank he wants, you know.
Dude, his slider is so nasty, and the fact that he went through all of Arizona Fall League and gave up only one hit,
Right.
just absolutely dominated. But I did text him, like I told you. I said I was going to text him last night, and he told me to bring up crumble cookies, and he said, "You know exactly what he meant." So what's the story with the crumble cookies?
Yeah, me mentioning that something I've learned during rehab, nutrition wise, and not eating bad. Me and a roommate. So it was me, Reifert, and another roommate. And I ain't gonna put him on blast. we're all living together, and man, me and that guy, the other roommate, went to Crumble Cookie probably every day, getting crumble because we were sitting there and we're like, man, we're bored. Let's go get a bunch of cookies. And you start looking at it, it's like that's got to be terrible for your body. There's no telling how much, probably a pound of sugar in each cookies, but they're good. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, they are good. What's your favorite crumble flavor?
Man, they had what is it? Pancake, buttermilk pancake or something like that. It was pretty good, man.
Yeah, I haven't had that one yet.
They got something going on there.
Yeah, he mentioned that you guys drove like 45 minutes to there too. It wasn't like you guys were around the corner.
Right. Yeah, one way. 45 minutes one way.
Jeez.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything else closer?
What was that?
There wasn't anything closer that y'all wanted? That you just needed those crumble cookies?
Yeah, just needed them, man. And
You went every day?
Nah, we would probably go 2 or 3 times a week and then realizing like, man, this is too much.
Dedication.
Dude, that's like a 45, 50-minute drive each way, and then wow, just for some cookies. Man, those are good cookies. I'm not even going to lie. It's worth driving for.
Right. Well, and the rate we were at, we were going to be diabetic by the time we come back from town. So.
Jeez. Well, hey, man, let's kind of get to know you a little bit more, your background and stuff. When did you start playing baseball? When did you kind of, realize like, hey, I'm kind of nasty at this sport of baseball and stuff?
Well, I started playing when I played t-ball when I was 4. I was really, I grew up in Foxworth, Mississippi. I was a really, really small town. Really wasn't much to do, but I loved playing baseball. My dad loved to play baseball. Growing up, I always hear about how good my dad was. And then I got to thinking, well, if he was pretty good at it, I come from him. I mean, what are the odds, But growing up until I was about, 10 or so, that's when I kind of started realizing, hey, I'm one of the better players on my team and in my league and stuff. But until then, when I was younger, I really wasn't as good at baseball as a lot of other kids, and I just gradually worked. And then I guess maybe my senior year of high school, I was just a good high school player until my senior year of high school. Senior year of high school came a lot of velocity. I was upper 80s consistently, occasionally hitting up in the 90s, and actually had one offer. So it was a 6-week spell. This was kind of crazy, and it's just crazy how maturity, puberty, and stuff like that helps athletes. But 6 weeks later, I was throwing like low 80s. 6 weeks later, which I was lifting weights and stuff too. I was upper 80s. I'd gain like on my top fastball or top velo, I'd gain like 9 or so miles an hour. I don't know exactly what it was. My fastball changed. I went from okay, he kind of throws hard to hey, he's one of the better throwers in the state at that time in 3A. It was a 3A high school, but and kind of had a lot of success on the mound, and then kind of took that into Pearl River and added 4 or 5 more miles an hour of velocity, and mainly just pitched off a fastball, man. Just went out there and competed and tried to throw a fastball over the plate every time. If they hit it, they hit it. If they didn't, they didn't. And that's kind of been my mindset since then. I've never been really fast or very athletic, so I, didn't have a lot of power hitting. So I wasn't going to be a position player, So
until they hit it, and then figure it out after. If they can't hit it, just keep throwing it.
Right, exactly. But yeah, it was. And I've kind of just tried to train my body off of getting stuff off the internet, talking to people, different things, different coaches and stuff, to try to throw harder. Because I realized, like, right-handers that throw 83 miles an hour are not going to pitch for a very long time, So, yeah, and it was kind of crazy. If it's a little 6-week spell of gaining a bunch of velocity kind of changed my career.
So you said you only had one offer, like, after the senior year?
Right.
Cool. And that was your JUCO offer, or was that was your one D1 you chose to go JUCO?
Yeah, well, it was a junior college offer. I did.
Okay, so it was the JUCO.
I was an early signee, so back then I signed like January 15th before my senior year. But when I signed, I was throwing like low 80s, and then like right before the season started, I gained a bunch of velocity, and then I'll never forget it. There was a junior college in Mississippi that reached out to my head baseball coach, and he asked about me. He was like, "We want to offer him." Didn't even know I signed. Like, didn't know who which was kind of to me. It's like, man, this guy didn't even know who it was, but yeah, it was kind of crazy to think about how baseball has kind of turned, since then. But yeah, it's been great.
That's awesome. And JUCOs, like we were talking about this last week, JUCOs are like there's so many good JUCOs out there. A lot of guys go the JUCO route for different reasons. Sometimes it's academics or whatever, or sometimes they want to get drafted after one season if they're good enough to do that. How good was your JUCO?
So my freshman year, we were middle of the pack. We were Division II college. So they do a little playoff series and then a regional. We won our playoff series and we got put out in it, didn't win it. But now my sophomore year, and we had a first year head coach when I went there. The guy that recruited me was not my coach when I got there. And then my sophomore year at Pearl River, we won a state championship, which
Nice.
it was a big thing in the state of Mississippi because that. But and then we got beaten in a regional again. But our coach kind of turned the program around and helped me tremendously. But yeah.
Well, I always wonder about this because I see so many crazy stories. What was the travel like for your JUCO? I know some is terrible, some is like, hey, it wasn't too bad. We had nice vans and we were just packed in a van. That was the worst part about it. Is there any like crazy things that happened, or like was it like terrible buses, like 3 wheels or something? I don't know, something crazy. I mean, I've seen some crazy things about JUCO travel.
Yeah, it's people talk about JUCO bandits or grinders or whatever. It's tough, it really is, because you're not necessarily doing things to be able to perform well. But I think it kind of helped me into pro ball my first year because it was a similar thing.
Yeah.
You're tired all the time. You had long days. The travel sucked. Stuff like that. But it wouldn't be uncommon, which we would leave the day before, so it was a little bit better than pro ball in 2019. But we would leave the day before and drive like 5.5 hours, get somewhere, practice, settle in. But yeah, they was not. Every person had their own seat. But half the time people would sleep on the floors. You couldn't get comfortable. The seat set straight up like this. So it definitely wasn't it could definitely have been worse, but it wasn't luxurious by no stretch, And then meals, they would have us a ham sandwich and an apple in between games.
Yeah.
That was our lunch. Double headers. Just, your typical thing. I feel like it's not uncommon for stuff like that to kind of take place, and I'm sure other places had way more extreme things than what we had. I feel like our coaches and stuff did the best they could with the resources that they had to get it done, but it makes you tougher, and I think at the end of it makes you a better ball player.
Yeah. Do you know Andrew Gross on the Rays in your organization?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had him on. He's a good buddy of mine. When I went out to spring training, he and I got dinner and stuff. So he's a really cool guy. I got to watch him pitch at the Trop because he was in the World, what's it called, the World Baseball Classic. So he was getting some reps there. But he had told me at his JUCO in Yapapai, they had him run this mile. After every bullpen they threw up this hill and down the hill, no matter what it was. Do y'all have any funny workout stories worse? Because you don't got the NCAA regulation, so the coaches they can run you into the ground. Do you have any funny JUCO stories that way?
Yeah, I got one, and I've told probably hundreds of people about this by now. So I remember, we had team challenges. The Junior College World Series is in Eden, Oklahoma. So we had a Road to Eden challenge, just like the Omaha challenges people do. And our coach, every day, they would come up with some stuff, and they would be giggling when they would tell us what we were going to be doing, because it would just be so extreme. And this was my freshman year. It'd be so extreme. You're sitting here thinking, does he really think we're about to be able to do it? And what was crazy is we'd be able to do it.
Yeah.
So I remember one morning we had a timed mile. I think we all had to run it in under 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And if anybody on your team didn't do it, your team lost. You broke up the team in half. And we boys, you're thinking of catchers, first base, all of them.
Yeah.
Not like that, some kind of, Olympic type mile or what, I don't know. But that was kind of tough for a baseball player. And then afterwards, we did a wall sit. and our coach started. I'll never forget this. Our coach started the timer, and if one person fell on either side, that team lost.
Jeez.
And we're doing a wall sit on the back of the outfield fence, and we're overlooking the campus.
Yeah.
And it's dark. You know, we get out there, and it's probably 5:30 or something. It's dark. It's cold. It's dew on the ground. And it's dark when we start this wall sit. Well, we're doing it so long, and we don't have a clock on us. Our coach does, and they're looking at their phone every so often, giggling.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget. We started. It was dark. We finished. It was complete sunrise, and we were late
Jeez.
to class. It was a 36-minute wall sit, and then finally we just
What?
shut it down. I mean, somebody just ran a timeout. Our legs were beat.
Yeah.
And there's obviously when you hear of guys like David Goggins doing stuff, that's obviously way more extreme than this.
Yeah.
But we were the redneck baseball players, man.
Yeah.
We trained, and but yeah, I remember how sore I would look down at my legs, and they would just lock up like a stem unit or a
Wow.
tens unit or something on your legs.
Yeah.
You couldn't even move your feet. And then one time we pushed broke up in teams of 4 people, and we had to push a 2.5 ton truck a quarter of a mile. And our coach timed it, and the driver had the truck in neutral and was steering.
Yeah.
I mean, as crazy redneck sounding stuff if you've ever imagined, man. That was our coach.
Jeez.
He would just see how far he could push us.
Yeah.
I swear it made us better just because, like,
Oh, yeah.
baseball was easy after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This ignorant stuff, it was easy, and it was fun to them. I don't know if they still do stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I think it's important.
All right. So I was gonna say, Kobe, after going from JUCO to Mississippi, I'm sure the workouts were nothing compared to what you went through in JUCO and stuff. Like, I don't know if like guys are ever complaining about workouts. You probably look at them like, dude, you had no idea what I had to go through pushing a truck,
Right.
up miles and stuff and running that kind of stuff. How was like the transfer? How was that a whole experience for you?
Well, I loved our strength and conditioning coach at Mississippi State, but he
Yeah.
was it was more strength training workouts. It
Mhm.
wasn't just to beat you apart, But far as I enjoyed working out when I got there,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed it at Pearl River too. Just the team challenges, man, they would get extreme. And I think that's the thing is once you can beat your mind to realize, hey, you can load a little bit more weight on the bar. You can do a little bit more. Trust yourself and push yourself, and don't be scared to feel bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want to feel like crap, but you got to at the end of the day sometimes, so.
Now, I'm a big college baseball guy, SEC fan, favorite teams in the SEC. I'm one of the people who even says this. Obviously, everybody says SEC baseball is superior. As someone who's played in SEC baseball, you guys do play out of conference. Is it the superior conference in college baseball? I mean, I don't know how it's not, but is it the most well-rounded baseball you play in college baseball?
It is. I remember I want to say I threw before conference. I want to say I threw 11 scoreless before I got into conference. I allowed my first run against Florida to Nelson Maldonado, I think was who got a hit in the middle. But man, I remember like immediately once I got into conference, they were on my fastball. They weren't overwhelmed by 96, 97. If I threw 196 and it was a strike, they were not going to hit it when I faced non-conference opponents. Didn't really matter who it was. They might foul it off or whatever, but when I play Florida and go to Auburn and stuff like that, they were on it. And that just the presence, the presence of some of these hitters that would get in the box, you knew, okay, this ain't their first rodeo. They've seen this a lot. You just got to give your best and hope it's enough, kind of thing, But yeah, it's unbelievable what some of the hitters that are in, even still now. I mean, and there's more home runs now than there has ever been. But there's good hitters in that conference. It's unreal.
You were there in 19, right?
Right.
So were you there when Rooker was there when he tore it up, or was he before you?
He was. I think it was 17. I think it was 4 because I think they got put out in a super, but. I definitely kept up with him and followed his journey.
And then, did you ever face Blade? I don't know if that was the year he won. I think he won Golden Spikes that year. Was that? Did you ever go head to head with him?
I never faced him. I threw. I want to say I only threw like a third of an inning in Omaha against them, and I didn't even pitch at all in the SEC tournament.
Okay, yeah, because I'm just telling him. I don't know if you could hear me that I went up to Hoover 2018 and 2019 for the SC tournament.
Okay.
So yeah, my buddy lived up there, and we're big Florida fans, so we went up there. But
yeah,
I'm just there for college baseball, dude. I'm all about it.
Oh yeah. Well, we had I can't remember the hours, but it was like a 17 inning game or something like that.
Jeez.
I could be botching that against LSU.
Yes, we decided for some reason we went to go eat and came back, and y'all were still playing. We were like, "What the hell's going on?" Like, we left in the third or fourth inning. We're like, "It'll be over. We'll watch." I think you might have been the last game of the night,
right?
But we were like, "We're probably gonna miss it," and they all were still playing. We were like, well, "Let's go see if they'll take our passes," because we had the day pass or whatever. It let us right back in. We finished watching it. Like that, it was wild. We went Buffalo Wild Wings and everything. Came back, and y'all were still playing. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember we were sitting in the dugout. And I wasn't pitching. Obviously, I was out the whole week. But I don't remember who it was. But somebody said, because I think maybe the next day, whoever lost had to play at 9:00, and it got to like 3 a.m. And like guys were in there threatening each other, like, "You better not lose this ball game because we don't want to have to, go home.
Wake up early.
The game is at 3. You go home, shower, get in the bed. You're probably not falling asleep till 4:30, 5:00, if that, And then you got to get there for pregame stuff and all that, So you wouldn't get no sleep. But
that's wild.
Crazy stuff, man, in college baseball.
What was your favorite team to play, or like your favorite city to travel to in college? Because obviously, you play a bunch of different spots. But what was your favorite like college game or college team to play?
Oh, man, I like going to Arkansas. We got drummed, we got swept, but it was a great environment. I wasn't happy with how the series went. Obviously, nobody was, but their fans were into it.
Yeah.
They hated us, which we liked. But it was a tough place to play. A bunch of fans, very nice stadium, very nice town. I liked the town. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Very cool, actually.
Cool. Who was obviously there's a lot of guys in college, and then some of them don't pan out in the bigs. Who was the best guy you faced in college when you were there at Mississippi State, or even at JUCO? Because I know some JUCOs play some guys that you're like, wow, they went JUCO. I'd have never known.
Right. I'll tell you what, man. For whatever reason, and this is on our team, but for whatever reason in the inter squads, Tanner Allen had my number. And he's my buddy. That's what was crazy. He was my buddy. I remember I was never scared to throw a fastball over the plate to anybody. Never have. And I definitely wasn't to him. And like the first 2 at-bats, he hit like screaming. One of them hit a screaming liner up the middle. One he hit in like the 3-4 hole. And then finally, that's when I was like, man, if I face this guy again, I'm finna just throw him but a fastball. And I started landing a few changeups. Like as soon as I let go of the ball, he's swinging. I was like, this dude here is just swinging out of hand. But he was a really good fastball hitter. And I'll tell you what else. I faced Jake Mangum. And he is a petty of a hitter. And this was what was crazy. Like my first inter squad, or maybe a live BP, I can't remember. I think it was inter squad though. The first guy I got out at Mississippi State in the inter squad was Jake Mangum. And that was pretty cool. I actually still got a video on my phone of it. I had won the World Series. It was just another practice of Jake. But
he can swing it too. I mean, he can swing it.
And the thing was, it was like he was taking the ball out of the catcher's mitt. Like he was seeing the ball so late and still able to get his hands to it. But I finally struck him out. Luckily, he's not going to remember it because it didn't mean anything to him, but it meant the world to me,
Are you still pretty good contact with those guys?
Yeah. I mean, I talked to TA a good bit. We play video games together. Brad Cumbest, talked to him a good bit. And then all the other guys, you'll message ever so often or whatever, but not just day-to-day messaging. They're guys. We were lucky I was lucky to go in there and play with those guys. They're great people.
We might need you to put in the good word for it with Tanner Allen, get him on the podcast, dude.
Yeah. I'll talk with him, man. He's he should be as much as video game as he does, he should have some free time, man.
Dude, I got that. What video games do you play?
Man, they got me. I don't even know the hell something. I can't. It was. I don't even know. It ain't a big video game. I play a bunch of Fortnite and MLB Show, and but Hell Let Loose was a game he's got me playing. I'm terrible at it, but he's pretty good at it. I don't know where this game comes from, but
is that an Xbox game or what? Or PlayStation?
PS5, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It looks like not Civil War, maybe World War II or something. I don't know, but
interesting.
You can't even see people, man, and they'll be done killed you. I played on there last night with him. Got frustrated, but
yeah, I can do. I'll run Fortnite. I run that like almost every night now. I've been getting back into that. I had like a long period where I just didn't touch it, but like I've been crushing that pretty hard lately.
Yeah, when they took the no builds on there,
that's what. Same with me.
I had a chance then.
Yeah. I said we're back.
They'll have some 9-year-old on there building so fast, and he'll be shot from the back of the head before you even see where he was.
Yeah, that's how it would be. And then I would try to build, and then like they would just shoot it under me, so I'd fall down and just die. I'm like, dude, I cannot win with this building. As soon as they got rid of the dude, I was back. I said, I'm in this.
Exactly. So quick pace too.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. So let's talk about the minors and stuff. You obviously get drafted. You go in the 6th round to the Rays. At what point did you realize, or you stopped asking yourself, like, when I get drafted, and start realizing that this is going to be a real possibility, and start saying, like, when I get drafted, or, when a team drafts me, and were the Rays, like, even on your radar?
I don't even think I ever talked to the area scout until I got drafted.
Oh, wow, okay.
Maybe my agent did. I'm not sure. I was very thankful, though, because I was not expecting to go when I did. But yeah, I mean, I was shocked at first, and then I got to realizing that this was what I wanted the whole time, and that I better prove I want it. Not to anybody else. I didn't want to prove anything to anybody else. A lot of times people get drafted and they're like, I got to prove somebody right.
Sure.
For me, it was just I got to prove myself. I got to prove what I want to myself every day because, a lot of people are just satisfied with playing minor league baseball or whatever it was. So you hear a lot of people when they get into pro ball, they go back to school and get their degree, which is great. Not saying anything against them or whatever, but I made it my decision to burn the boat, so to speak. Sure. And I didn't finish my degree because I said I was gonna pitch in the big leagues. That was my goal, and I'm still after that goal, obviously. But I just put everything in one thing and just see what happens. If it doesn't work out, then go to something else. But I truly believe in myself from the beginning, and because if you don't have that, you have no chance. I feel like, especially in minor league baseball, players are too good. If you go up there one day, man, I don't know if my stuff's good enough, or I don't know if I can do it. They're gonna eat you up, man. It's everybody works so hard and everybody's so competitive.
That's awesome. I'm gonna clip that and post that. That's cool. Glad to hear that.
Good. Obviously, you get drafted by the Rays. They now have a long history of developing guys. I mean, they go get whoever, and now they seem to become elite talents. How does your confidence grow? Not just in not in yourself, but with the organization itself. Like, you've seen it in front of your own eyes. I'm sure you see it. Like, these guys are like, wow, he might not be as good as me, but they know what he's good at. And that's why he's now propelling through the system. And now I can't wait till they do that to me when I'm fully healthy. Like, is there a confidence boost knowing that the Rays are now known for developing elite talent at this point?
Right. Yeah, I think so. From day one when I got there, they were throwing a bunch of things at me, and they all made sense. It was like, man, they're trying this and this and this. Not really getting into things, but they were doing a lot of stuff that I liked. Like, I knew that I liked throwing fastballs. When I got here, I was sitting there thinking, okay, they're going to try to change my identity, and which the first year they did, in rookie ball and then or short season. But then I got realizing it's for long term stuff. Like, I remember I had to throw like 60% sliders in 2019 in short season, a pitch I never threw really, and I didn't like it at that point in time, but I remember after coming back from COVID 2021 spring training, it was just pitch then. They thought my slider shape was there. They thought my command with it was there. still use it, but just go pitch. You know,
Mhm.
pitch off your fastball and then use it. And I think it was a great plan. You know, sometimes it's hard to take a step back and say, I might not have as much success against this hitter right now because I'm throwing a pitch that's not my best pitch. But down the road, it's going to help me. And man, they got so many resources for player development that, and obviously I've only been with them, but they have way more than enough than what you need to for any avenue, far as health, performance, to help you get back. You know, so it's the confidence that they have as well. You know, they know that it works, and they're not scared to try things, and I like that. You know.
Yeah. I seen Glass now did an interview. He's talking about how like close relations everybody in the organization has with literally every player and every system. Like it doesn't matter if you're in the rookie ball or whatever, or if you're the next guy they're calling up. Like it's so tight knit. That's why people thrive there, because it's so welcoming and it's a great ran organization. So I was just wondering how that, like, you noticed any of that or how that was. That's pretty cool.
When they come down, speaking of like Glasnow and the big league guys, you know, when they come down, like let's see, Fairbanks came down, Glasnow came down just since I've been down here, and Ryan Thompson. And I don't know specifically who bought what one day, but I know we walked out one day and we had a taco truck. One day we walked out and he got snow cones for everybody, you know, and I'm sure they do that kind of thing for a lot of different places, but, you know, and that's just something small to them. You know, they're at the big time, they're doing it, you know, but for them to just come down for a day and was like, hey, these guys, they're kind of up against it down here rehabbing and rookie, because rookie ball is not fun. There's no way that's nobody signs up to play rookie ball in a minor, you know. So, but yeah, they're great people. Everybody here is just so considerate, I should say, on every aspect of where people are in their career.
Yeah, nice. You in the minors and stuff, you rose pretty quickly through all the ranks. I think you started at low A in 19 and made it all the way to triple A. What do you remember most from that season? Because you were just carving up through every level you went to overall, like a 1.52 ERA. But like, what was maybe the biggest thing you took away from that one season where you just like rocketed through the minors?
Yeah, my thing is I felt like I really figured out how to be consistent and how to do things in a routine over and over again. So like I was able to execute more times during that year than I have my whole life, just because of my preparation on far as you know, when the walkie-talkie or the phone goes off in the bullpen, I do this many plyo throws. I get on the mound and I don't throw more than 7 pitches on the bullpen mound, and then I'm on the gamer, you know, stuff like that. And then afterwards, I do my arm care. I do this. I drink a cherry juice and go to bed. Do that, you know, and but I think outside of that, I also feel like I understood the hitters a lot more because every hitter is different according to the level, and some hitters are anomalies in each level. But for the most part, like low A, they had trouble hitting fastballs. It felt kind of like, I mean, this sounds bad, and there's still a gap there, but it felt more like junior college at low A. And then once I got to high A, you had to pitch backwards some, and sometimes you had to show pitches because they were looking to ambush fastballs. And then it was pretty much the same song and dance in Double A. But the biggest jump I felt like was Double A to Triple A. Older hitters, they were smart. And then they executed more often, you know. And that's when I realized something was different, because I would throw fastballs middle, and they would take them 2 times in a row, and then I'd throw a slider down in the dirt, and they'd swing at it and hit it and get a hit or something. You know, it was just like they were sitting on one pitch more often. So it's just different things of being aware of what the hitters were doing. And you hear people talk about it, I guess, and it's kind of cliche, but I really saw it firsthand, and it was pretty cool seeing how I could. How I would have to adjust, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Who's the best player you played with in AAA? Taj Bradley just got called up. You played with him. Like, who was one of the best players you've seen, either on your team or someone you played against?
That's a hard question. I've played with a lot of very good players. I'm gonna say defensively is Taylor Walls. He is man. He's just so athletic.
Yeah.
He moves like a baseball player so well defensively. And I played with Wander, and I'll never forget seeing Wander batting practice for the first time. And man, he can hit. He was I don't remember what the round was, but I know I saw him hit. He was hitting left-handed. I saw him hit 6 consecutive balls over the wall in left field.
Jeez.
And it was easy. It just looked.
Yeah.
And that's when I got to realize, and I was like, man, these, a lot of other people are playing level 1 of major leagues. He's gonna skip a few levels or something because he can handle the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's crazy one.
Right.
How was it? Did you play with Randy at all?
No, I haven't played with him. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Randy came over from St. Louis.
Oh, yeah, that's true. He was
and
in the
then
trade.
in 2020 is when he had the COVID, and it just came out of nowhere after he got COVID.
Yeah.
It was like it mutated him. And now he's just a monster.
Dude, he's so fun to watch, though.
Yeah. So obviously, minor league teams. There's a lot of cities that don't have anything around them, so they just adapt to the minor league games and they go all out. Have you had any what's your favorite place that you played at in the minors? Because I know that it's a whole different experience in like a college campus because they still have football or whatever else. This is like all they have in some places.
Yeah.
And I mean, some people. I've been to games. I think somewhere in New York, I was where my aunt and them live. There was like 10,000 people there. It's a minor league game on a Tuesday night, but that's all they have in the town. And they go crazy for it. So have you had any city that you vividly remember? Like the fans were crazy, the environment was awesome, the best stadium, something like that.
Well, like Durham, which is AAA, I would think that those would be expected to have big crowds. But man, when I played in Charleston and it's low A, and I think they had 4,000 or 5,000, but the environment's there, man. You get in the ball game and you have a good little adrenaline rush, and it's cool and there's obviously other stuff there, but I don't know that it is just a huge baseball or whatever town. I mean, maybe it is, but as far as those Riverdale games, man, it was, they get rowdy. I remember, I guess it was Thirsty Thursday. They'd have everybody and their mom out there drunk. And, and it would be an environment. It was cool, But
do you have any funny fan interactions? Whether because I've talked to guys who they're like, yeah, I had fans come onto the bus and try to get autographs on the bus, or whatever it is. Like, do you have any interesting or funny fan interactions?
Oh, I got a few. I don't know if I should share them. I don't know how PG they are, but yeah, I mean,
you could share them, and if it isn't, I'll delete it.
Okay. Well, so we were in Mahoning Valley, and this isn't too much of a fan interaction. Mahoning Valley, Ohio, and we're playing. It was I can't even remember what they were called. We're in the bullpen, and I was in the ball game. I get done doing my arm care, and I come back to the bullpen, and the bullpen, you can see the bullpen from the walkway, and there's fans all around the bullpen. And speaking of, I ain't gonna name the guy's name, but you know one of the guys that this happened to, and you might have heard this story. Apparently, he made 2 warm-up throws, grabbed his lower abdomen, said he had to go to the restroom. There's no bathroom out there. The bathroom is in right field, and fans are everywhere.
Yeah.
And he's going in the ball game. We're 2 outs in the half inning. He's about to go out. So there is a brute trash can in the bullpen, and there's fans everywhere. So he sits down on top of this thing in front of 9 people in the bullpen, does his business, wipes with a training towel, goes to the ball game, and fans are everywhere. I know when I came back, there's fans just sitting around calm as can be. I'm like, I know they saw this, and everybody is just on the ground rolling around laughing, grabbing their stomach. And I know the grounds crew got a surprise when they clean that bullpen out there. I mean, and the thing I was sitting there thinking about is this was my first first season in pro ball. It's like, man, if this doesn't get you acclimated to pro ball, I don't know what does. But I don't know why they could have put a porta potty or something.
Yeah,
man.
Jeez.
He was up against it because he wasn't even loose. I don't know that he threw 2 pitches off the mound. and he was just scrambling, had to go to the restroom, man. Like, what are the odds, you know?
Did he pitch well though?
Man, if I'm not mistaken, and this was some other crazy stuff about it. I don't know where this guy's at now. I'm assuming he's not playing baseball anymore. But our left fielder, it was 2 outs and a runner at third in a tie ball game. And our left fielder, it was like a shallow fly ball. And our left fielder, like, intentionally lets it take a hop and tries to throw a guy out at the plate. And when the ball hits his glove, the guy is safe at the plate. And then I'm like, dude, does this guy even know? Like, I don't know. We lost a ball game like that. We were the away team, and I'm pretty sure that was the same outing. My memory isn't great.
Yeah.
But he just had a benches clearing brawl that series.
What?
Like,
Wild things down there.
yeah.
Jeez.
Like, we did not need to be in Ohio.
Wow.
Hey, there's a thing going on with Ohio, man. I don't know what it is.
That's wild, dude. That has to be one of the best stories I've heard so far, though. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
That
The
was a
crazy
good one.
when you add in the communication in a non-PG
Yeah.
form, you know, like what all
Yeah.
we said, you know. So
That's
Well-
insane.
Well, I know we talked about the JUCO travel, and we asked this to another JUCO guy. How does that travel compare to the minors? Because I've heard it's worse on some levels, and I heard it could be miles better than their JUCO experience. So, was your JUCO experience comparable to your minor league experience, or how'd that go?
it was comparable in some trips, but it was definitely worse in pro ball in 2019. Now it got better with how they done the schedule.
Yeah.
What was bad about it is you would play a 3-game set, travel through the night, wake up the next day, and you'd play again. Like, you wouldn't have an off day for a travel. Like, now you have a travel day and you have an off day.
Yeah.
Either like 6 games or whatever. So I remember we drove. This was in 2021. I got called up from high A to double A. We had a 14-hour bus ride from Wilmington, Delaware to Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Yeah.
And then I watched the sun go down that night. We played a day game. I watched the sun go down that night, and I watched the sun rise that morning. I could not sleep on the bus. And then I had to go pack my apartment. I had to pack my locker at the field because I was going to Montgomery. Then I had to pack my apartment, and we had a day game. And I guess they were like trying to get to the field by this, you know, I don't remember what the time was. It was like 1:00 game or something. Literally didn't have any sleep, man. Drove, I think, 4 hours to Montgomery. And I guess I could have showed up late, but I was just excited. I was like, man, I'm in double A.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need to, you know. So
Yeah, you're hyped.
exactly. And I remember being exhausted. I got done with the game that night and slept till like noon the next day. Just could not wake up. But yeah, it was pretty rough. I guess if you can learn to sleep on those buses, I can't sleep sitting up. You know, some guys master it. I've never been good at that. So
Yeah. Well, obviously that was a long day for you. This is a question I've asked every one of our guests, and it's gonna be like my staple question. For long days like that, long travel, you're going, you know, you got a big travel day coming up. You're going to the facility and you stop at a gas station. What are like 3 gas station essentials you must have for that long day?
I'm going to have some kind of caffeine, whether it's coffee or some kind of energy drink that's going to kill me. Some kind of beef jerky.
Yes.
I could go 2 ways with it. It depends on how bad I'm feeling. I could be going with a bag of chips or some kind of candy bar. So I don't know, but definitely gotta get some energy drink in me or something, man, to stay up. You know.
Gotcha. That's just it's just one of those questions something I'm curious about.
Yeah, everyone has different answers, so that's cool. You talked about getting your energy drink and stuff. When you're in the bullpen, what do you do to get yourself hyped up? You do like some pre-workout or a Red Bull? Like, what do you do to get yourself hyped up to get out of the pen?
Man, in Durham, I really didn't need anything. There was big crowds, but Montgomery, I remember I'd come into games and be throwing 92, and everybody thinks I'm hurt. And so finally, I got to where I was taking all of the above: 5-hour energies, pre-workout. If my buddy had caffeine, man, I noticed some of the Latin guys, they were taking Excedrin. Apparently, that's got
okay.
I'm like, man, I'll try one of those if it comes that, But yeah, it's anything to get some caffeine in to get you amped up, because when you're pitching
Yeah.
94 degrees and there's 5 people in the stands, on a day game, you really don't. You're not juiced, So
Yeah.
Yeah.
anything to create
Cool.
some adrenaline.
When you're not pitching or playing, what do you do for fun? I mean, we'll kind of wrap it up here, but what do you do for fun when you're not at the ball game? When you're not, obviously you're rehabbing now, but like when you're not doing that, like what do you do for fun? Like you talked about games, you golf, or what do you do?
I've kind of gotten into golf. I'm terrible at golf, but got into it lately. It's a fun game. It's hard. I think that's what I like about it so much, is because I understand how hard it is, and when I make one good shot, it's so much rewarding.
Yeah.
Like golf. Ian Leatherman, we shoot bows some.
Okay.
Got back. I do a little bit of hunting. I haven't killed any big trophy deer or anything like that, but just enjoy the outdoors. And fishing. I was fishing some down here. Just anything to try to stay outside, really, to stay busy.
Well, I got one more for you at least. Kind of another off the wall question. Not really off the wall, but obviously from Mississippi, I kind of think I know where you're going with this answer. You get in the truck, you're just going wherever you got to go that day. What's playing on the radio when you get in? You turn on Apple Music, Spotify, whatever you use. What are you putting on?
It's gonna be some country. More than likely Riley Green, Luke Combs, maybe a little Morgan Wallen, or some old country. Listen to a little David Allen Coe, Hank Jr., stuff like that.
Being from Mississippi, is you a Hardy fan?
Yeah. Oh yeah, man, he's a big Mississippi State guy.
Yeah, I know. I figured.
Yeah, he's a man. TA, actually, talking about Tanner Allen. I don't know how close they are, but TA goes to a few of his concerts and has hung out with him before.
I've seen something on Hardy's with Tanner Allen. So,
yeah. He's big time, man. He's got them all. So all big time guys hang out together.
Dang. Let's end on this. What are maybe one or two things that you're grateful for? I like asking this question because it kind of puts a perspective on non-baseball fans. We're kind of watching you guys at a high pedestal. Just hearing that you guys are also grateful for other things, it kind of, brings you down to our level and stuff like that. So what are some things that you're grateful for?
First and foremost, grateful for kind of establishing and building onto a faith in God more so during this rehab process. And then outside of that, obviously my family. They're a huge support system for me. Anything I need, like me being gone, there's so much stuff back home that happens or whatever that I can't control. Like I'm not there. I can't. They always take care of stuff back home and just kind of give me that peace of mind that not to worry about anything over there, that they're going to take care of it. But yeah, my family, they're awesome. My grandparents, I'm thankful that I have all my grandparents still alive. They're doing well. My family's doing well. So those are two big things for me, leading up into my arm health, so.
Well, Colby, hey, let's end on that. I mean, I'm glad that we were able to get you on. I mean, I know it's getting dark in your background, so I wanted to.
Man, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. No, don't worry about it. No, there you go. I can see your face and stuff. But hey, we want to thank you for coming on, man. We're gonna be watching your career. We're big Colby White guys. Consider my podcast Twitter handle like your burner account. If I see guys chirping at you, I'm gonna chirp back, clap back at them for you. So we're happy to have you on the pod, man.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me.